is a force unbroken, with banners high and hearts awoken. The sound of pipes, our war is calling. Like thunderous waves, our duty is falling. Stand tall, together we fight, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. With battle cries we forge our fate, in fields of valor we elevate. As shadows loom, our spirits flee. Brothers in arms, we are the dream. Fearless, we take the night, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity, our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. As dawn breaks, we know our name.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second time we're doing the Wicked Wildlife Encounters. And tonight's subject is going to be ocean creatures, whales, dolphins, sharks, otters, sea otters, whatever you want to talk about, all the way down to the piranhas. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to get into the disclaimer, and then we're going to do a few announcements real quick, and then we're going to get into the heart of the podcast. All right. So please bear with me. I'm struggling tonight, gasping to breathe every now and then. So just bear with me. The more hot coffee I get down my tubes, the better I'll be. Okay. So just be gentle tonight, folks. As always, I claim fair use of all content under the Copyright Act of 1976, which is otherwise known as the fair use. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, it makes allowances for purposes such as entertainment, which is tonight, entertainment, parody, teaching, scholarship, research, and general knowledge only. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known as fair use. And furthermore, I wish to acknowledge that not all the opinions and theories mentioned during the podcast are not necessarily the opinions or viewpoints of Nighthawk High Strategist podcast channel or William Nighthawk, aka me. Okay, we at Nighthawk High Strategist YouTube channel only in Facebook channels merely bring the open format of discussion on the possibilities of topics happening in the past, present, and future. Please join the Nighthawk High Strategist YouTube channel family by subscribing, and please hammer that like button, please. YouTube is still withholding at least half of our likes on every podcast, and I'm fighting with them on that, and they just don't want to give it up. Join the chat family, but please be respectful in the chat, and please put all questions in capital letters, okay? Tonight's topic is going to be about sea life, okay? And it's basically it's interacting with humans while humans are, in transit on the waters, whether it's swimming, boating, fishing, whatever, okay? So I'm going to unmute David's mic here so we can have him talk about this too. And I'm going to start with the intro, okay? I've got several things I want to talk about tonight. One of them being David and I both, and everybody with Eastern BRO, lost a very dear brother today. And to something that I'm battling too. And I often, if I could have stepped out of my position and into their position this past year with several of these people that I held very close to me as friends and brothers, I would have taken their place anytime, anytime. So please join me in remembering Fred Zaluga. Rest in peace, my brother. You are were a good friend. You were a hell of a Bigfoot researcher and everything weird and unusual researcher. I mean, we pretty much thought alike. You will be sorely missed. Um, I know you're still with us. I know you can hear us, um, but you will be missed. Until we see each other again, my brother, rest in peace, and God bless, and prayers of comfort and peace for your family. That is someone that I kind of likened him unto like a the grumpy brother, you know, that would had no problem speaking his mind, which is the greatest thing about him. He never held anything back. You know, he was very open and honest with everybody. On where he stood, and I think we need that. And as many people as we're losing, and I know I'm thinking about that all the time. We are losing a lot of. I don't want to use the term expert, okay, but we're losing a lot of very, very informative people, people that thought outside the box, and outside the normal range of the way things are perceived. And I just pray that the younger generation that is getting into the research, the Ryan Paul Tremblays, Jessica Jones, the younger people, I pray that you guys carry it on and continue to question everything. Okay. And because it's not just the weird Bigfoot encounters and dogman encounters out there. It's literally everything. And the world is vastly changing. And after we are all gone, I just hope that the next generation can carry it on. I really do. And question everything. That being said, I do want to acknowledge an author, and his name is Brian Houlihan. Okay, and he visited the Bigfoot Enigma Research Center and Museum located at 205 Lawson Boulevard in Clayton, Oklahoma. Okay, Tanya Kordek's group there. It was basically started out. She said it started out as a meeting place and turned into kind of like a sit-down type of a museum to just relax in and talk about people's encounters where they won't be ridiculed. And Tanya, that is remarkable for you to do that, and the others that are involved. I know there's a lot of people involved in it, and my hat's off to you guys. You guys are phenomenal, and will continue to only bring good things to the cryptid community and the paranormal community as a whole. So thank you, Tanya, for that, and for your place for people to go and talk about your encounters. But Brian is a remarkable guy. He's got a book out, and here's his book. Okay, it's called Chasing Sasquatch, and it's pretty much his belief and his interactions and stuff through his life, along with chasing Sasquatch. Okay, so it's a very interesting book, to say the least. If anybody wants, you can look him up. Okay, he's probably going to be on Amazon, all the usual places you would buy books, I would imagine. Or you can get a hold of Tanya, and she'll tell you. Okay. But yeah, if we can, let's support him. He's a brother, and he deserves to be, you know, held up just like everybody. And who knows? It's going to take all of us to come together to find the answers that we're seeking on every subject that we talk about. And it's not just the Bigfoot subjects; it's everything. That being said, our subject tonight is in Wicked Wildlife Encounters. David, is ocean life mysteries. The encounters have been incredible throughout the last couple years, especially. We've all seen the video of the blue whale flying out of the water and landing onto the sailboat. We've heard of horrific shark attacks. We've heard of schools of fish just dying without like a reason. No red algae blooms or anything being spotted in the area. And I likened it to probably some of it is probably human contamination by throwing their waste into the ocean, which is something that can never be done. But we know that it happens. We know that there's people out there that really don't care, to put it bluntly. And I think that, also with, magnetic pole shift and solar flares and all that, and the lunar phenomena, which has a lot to do with our tides, ebbs and flows. I think all of it combined is causing turmoil for the water life of our oceans. But one thing that I have noticed lately is that water life, as far as like whales and dolphins and stuff, and even sharks, otters, sea otters, it seems like all of them are becoming a lot smarter, more intelligent than normal. As a matter of fact, we have a female orca who was trained in a marine park in France. Researchers had her mimic a new sound, and starting the whale calls, they started working with her and all that, and she started mimicking human speech. Okay, literally, she started mimicking human speech, which is absolutely extraordinary. As far as that goes, I can't imagine anything that's not on two legs being able to mimic human speech, especially an orca. They're not a small breed at all. They're actually a very large breed. I'm trying to find the picture right now of it to show you all. Where did I put it? I put it here somewhere. Let's see. No, maybe I didn't. Well, you all know what a whale looks like. Use your imagination.
Yeah, the orcas.
We see encounters all the time like this. Yeah, the orcas. Yeah. We see encounters like this all the time. This is just, whales, coming up to a boat and interacting with the people on the boat. This is stuff that you really don't hear about, and as much as it's been happening lately is incredible. Intelligent creatures bond and interact. Hearing it and is fascinating and eerie at the same time, but seeing it happen takes it to a whole new level. I don't know about you, David, but that would it wouldn't frighten me, but it would definitely move me into a center part of the boat.
Well, most people don't realize how intelligent they really are. Not just whales, but the orca, which is part of the whale family.
Exactly.
And they're really smart. I mean, just like the orcas. I mean, the way they communicate, the way they hunt in pods, how they surround the prey, trick the prey into going into areas where the other orcas are waiting for them. And that's just the orca. That's not counting the dolphins and everything else out there that has that intelligence to be able to communicate in that way when it comes to hunting and survival. And
Exactly.
science doesn't know everything about these animals. They do know quite a bit. A lot of it they speculate about. They're still studying and trying to understand a lot of the communication aspect of a lot of these sea creatures, as well as land animals too. But we're talking about sea creatures right now. Uh, there's a lot more there than what people realize. So when you see them interact the way they do, and interact with humans, just like that one spacecraft that came back a few months back, waiting to be picked up by the helicopters and the recovery ship, the dolphins that came up around it, surrounded it, like they were communicating with the people that just came back from space. Until you experience it and try to understand what it's about, people don't have a lot of respect for the wildlife out there in the ocean. Look at some of the countries like India, Mexico, and there's a few others I can name, but I'm not going to get on a tangent on that. They have no respect for the ocean in general. Look at the trash that they throw in the rivers, the oceans. It's complete chaos out there.
I'm glad you brought that up, David. Yeah, I'm glad you brought the trash thing up too, because I did a little bit more research into that too, and I know from being in the military too and being on board ship that you know, not everything is kept out of the ocean. Let's just put it that way. Okay, but in one of the countries, in one of the European countries overseas, the Netherlands have engineered a device that floats across the top of the water and basically coordinates all of the floatable trash that's within it, within like a 100-foot depth to the top of the water surface, into a 600 meter basically garbage bag. How they don't catch a lot of the ocean wildlife in it is beyond me. You would think,
well, they probably do to some
of it
degree.
in there, but
yeah,
right. But it's an automated system, and they just put it in the water and let it go.
But now you're only seeing what's on the surface of the water.
Exactly.
Look at what's on the ocean floor.
Exactly.
It's unreal what sinks that gets on the ocean floor.
Exactly.
Hopefully they can come up with a way to start cleaning that up a little bit too. I know it'll be a major undertaking, but it needs to be done because we've only got one planet.
Yeah. Well, you know, what kills me is they've got the smarts to make a vacuum to suck the gold out of the bottom of the ocean. Why can't they use something to suck the trash out of the bottom of the ocean?
You'd think manpower intensive, plus there ain't no money in it probably.
Yeah, true. I don't know, but yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm thinking there's it's definitely more than just one reason for wildlife in the ocean, aquatic ocean life acting up. Excuse me.
Well, it's also technology based too, because you got to look at what's been going on with these wind turbines that have been putting out in the ocean. The technology the military has and they're experimenting with that we don't even know about. You know, a lot of that's got to have some kind of repercussions on the ocean life that's never been there before, from different sonars to electronic emissions to it's just unreal. I mean, I could go on and on and on about that, but you know it's going to have some effect on the wildlife, and it could have dramatic effects to where it even changes a lot of the temperament behavior of a lot of the wildlife too. Not only against other species in the ocean, changes their pattern as far as migration, being able to navigate for those that use the polar magnets and stuff to be able to navigate like birds doing stuff, because just like the salmon, they come up to certain rivers every year to be able to produce and to be able to spawn, then they die. But when they're young hatch, they head out to the ocean. But they navigate coming back for that one time a year, years down the road when they get to mature age to be able to reproduce. So a lot of things are interacting with the environment that could change the whole dynamic of what's going on. It's unreal.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. We have legends too in native culture of wildlife interacting with humans, and the wildlife actually being the smarter of the two. So, you know, I mean, there's a lake in Arizona, by the way, I can't remember the name of the lake though, but people have been fishing there since since people moved in the area, and they have found out that over time they have been finding that a lot of the fish that are in this lake live to be well over 100 and 150 years old. That a lot of them are living a lot longer in these freshwater lakes. And I'm not even sure if this is a man-made lake or not, but the fact that they're actually living longer is incredible. There was a time when humans were living longer, but now lately we see the human lifespan being a lot less than typically it was 20, 30 years ago. And you see wildlife, lifespan increasing. So is it a case of beasts taking over and inheriting the earth?
Well, another thought process on that is the human species, in my opinion, is becoming dumbed down, lazy, complacent. Plus everything we're being fed and everything else is bioengineering and stuff. But then again, that one phrase in Jurassic Park where what's his name? I can't remember the actor's name. Makes a comment to scientists saying life will find a way. And with everything that's going on, life expectancy is increasing because they're finding a way to adapt. Possibility. Exactly. It's just something to throw out there. Right. And I mean, I know a lot of them's been like that for you. I can't think of that big freshwater fish, the tarpon, that lives over 100 years.
Tarpon, yeah.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
That lives over 100 years. And I think that's the largest freshwater fish there is. But then again, there's others out there too that live like that. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to find I thought I had the picture of that too, but I guess I don't.
I'm thinking it's a tarpon. Somebody in the chat knows the exact name for it. I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm 50-50 on the name because it just popped in my head all of a sudden as far as the freshwater fish we have in our lakes and rivers and stuff.
There's the picture of the female killer whale that started talking in human tongue. So, of course, she probably was speaking French because it happened in France. But you know what? Speech is speech, no matter what. Even if it is a one that we don't. Sorry, I'm having a real bad time trying to breathe. We're seeing a lot of interactions with sea otters and stuff that are being having to be taken off board people's boats and stuff when they go fishing. They just get up there and they use it as a floating island, basically, and basically take it over. Here's an instance where one was having to be rescued, and it's the interactions that we're seeing often remind me of how smart wildlife is typically. I don't know if anybody's ever really done like meditation and stuff. I'm not talking like yoga meditation and stuff like that. I'm talking about deep meditation, like the Shaolin monks do and all that for hours on end. Getting away from the ocean for just a second. This is what our next podcast in Wicked Wildlife Encounters is going to be about. And I found it very fascinating, and I think you guys will too. I'm going to put this up here on the screen. This is a monk meditating in the forest, and nonchalantly, here comes a male lion up to him and basically doesn't attack him or anything, just basically interacts with him and then lies down in front of him like a pet. We are going to get into big cats on the next Wicked Wildlife Encounters. So that's going to be a good one. But I thought that picture was very interesting. Let me take that banner down. There you go.
Yeah, that brings up another aspect as far as communication between humans and animals and stuff, because with the brain power and everything that humans as well as animals have, even though we can't measure it to some degree, but you have it with your pets. You can just feel that communication going on. They can tell when you're sick, when you're happy, when you're angry. And I know when I was in the canine field, a lot of canines would mimic their handlers. So if the handler was aggressive, they say what travels up leash travels down leash too. They feed off of that. And the same thing can happen with wildlife too. I've heard I've heard of stories to where actual wildlife, they're either young and or themselves to be in some kind of danger or hurt, they come to a human for assistance. And that could be part of that next podcast too, as far as that. We'll talk more about that if you want to incorporate that in the next one.
Yeah, definitely. I want to incorporate that. Definitely.
There's more going on out there than what people realize. People sit on the couch and drink coffee too much. They watch TV. They don't get out there and experience life for what it has to offer. And they take everything at face value. Until you get out there and experience what's going on, 99% of people don't have any concept of what's out there.
Well, Dario.
But some of the things I found when you brought that up, which I didn't know about till I looked some of the stuff up, that a sea lion once slapped a kayaker in the face with the octopus that caught.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they have a sense of humor, as far as that. And the whale temporarily held a kayaker in its mouth, and the seal, fleeing a pod of orcas, took refuge on the back of a boat.
Yep.
You can't tell me these animals are dumb.
No, they're not. They're not.
I mean, if they could rationalize and figure things out, you just can't look at animals and just say that they're an animal, we're humans, and we're top of the food. We might be top of the food chain, so to speak. But when it comes to, I think I've met more sane animals than I have people in my lifetime, to be blunt about it, with the smarts and intelligence. I mean, it's just unreal with what's going on out there.
What do you think? What do you think about Urso's statement here? I know I'm trying to catch up in the chat, but I don't know if you can read that or not. Okay, it says it's illegal to communicate with dolphins, and I would assume that it would be for whales as well because it's a bigger species and more intelligent.
He said legal or illegal? Oh, there you go. Oh, okay. It's illegal to communicate. I mean, why would it be illegal to communicate with them? The military has been doing it for years.
Bounty says dolphins can make labor and delivery easier for humans.
That's why the military uses
healing. Exactly. It's all about frequency. You're right, Auntie Aaron.
Yep.
Good to see you in here tonight.
Yeah, frequency and their intelligence. I mean, they use them for combat missions. And
hey, Jessica, good to see you.
And not just dolphins either. They use other animals for combat missions too that they're trained up because they are smart.
Yeah. Bounty brings up the HARP facility too, which could be a reoccurring problem too. And one thing I didn't think about either is with CERN even doing what testing they're doing, they could be making the aquatic wildlife actually acting strange too.
Yep.
I know that the Navy does sonar testing with new sonar weapons, and that causes whales and stuff and dolphins and everything to beach themselves.
Well, that's what we know.
And, we'll deny it. Yeah. They'll deny it till they're red, blue in the face. But I was on the USS Coral Sea CV-43, folks. I know what the Navy does. Trust me.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even with and I'm sure there's stuff out there. Well, we know they're testing stuff out there. We have no knowledge about what they're testing when it comes to military and governmental stuff, ocean and land, as far as that goes. It's just unreal, and people have no concept, what's going on. Which I can agree to some degree. You got to have national security, but what impact is it having on life in general?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Auntie Aaron just ratted me out to Jessica about me calling Jessica young. She's a young kid, as far as I'm
But she is
concerned.
young. What is she,
Yeah,
22?
23, 24, somewhere around there.
So somewhere around there.
I got shoes older than Jessica.
Well, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Oh, anyways, yeah. I mean, as far as we've all seen that, like I mentioned earlier, with the whale jumping out of the water and onto the sailboat. And there was a freakish encounter. Jessica's 22. She said. Hold on a sec. Oh, sorry guys. It is getting really hard to breathe. But yeah, we've all seen that video of the whale jumping on a sailboat. But I recall, I don't know if you all remember, a few years ago, there was a documentary about a certain shark that attacked a certain fishing boat from below and literally bit a hole in the bottom of the boat and pulled it down into the water. And that was just about probably, I want to say, 5 or 6 years ago that happened.
Yeah, and they're saying that they don't think it was a great white. The
Yeah.
theory is they're still looking at the megalodon coming up from the depths if it still exists. Because they measured the bite measurements as far as, and they haven't had a great white that big yet. That's known.
Yeah. And they did find, I know they did find a megalodon's tooth that looked fairly newer. It wasn't petrified or anything, off of South Africa, which is where that boat went down.
Well, they've also had some large great whites, 25 foot long and stuff, that have pretty good sized bite marks taken out of them. And you can look that up. So what is bigger than a great white that would be able to leave marks that size to attack a great white? It's something to think about and look into. I mean, there's a lot down there that may be coming up that we don't realize is coming up due to all these changes and stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
Because the currents are changing, the water temperatures have been changing. Some of it could be contributed to climate change. We do contribute to climate change some, but not to the degree that they make it out to be. The climate's actually gone through, I think, 8 known measurable ice ages.
Yeah.
And just as much as far as warmer climates. CO2 levels high and low over millions and thousands of millions of years. And all that could be contributing factors to what's going on too. I mean, there's just so much that we just don't understand that will interfere with animals' behavior one way or the other.
Yeah. Steve Wolf. Hey, good Steve to see you. Good to see you, man. He says off the coast of Panama at Shell Island. Yeah.
Yep.
6 dolphins, 2 hours. Largest.
We did the same thing at the Boga Island of Panama on the Pacific side.
Well, didn't they have a World War II photograph of a megalodon next to a German U-boat off of South Africa's coast?
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, if you Google it, you can pull the picture up.
Submarine still swims off Africa's megalodon that was stabbed above the eye in 1935. That's how they knew it was a submarine. They now know it's a submarine. No, that's how they know it's submarine. What? Like submarine, like deep.
Submarine is the name of the shark. No,
Huh?
they named the megalodon the name submarine because they thought it was a megalodon.
Okay, I understand that.
The picture of the shark next to the German U-boat, it was bigger than the U-boat. It dwarfed it, and it was amazing to see. And it was from the World War II era. So I mean, this is far before AI was even a problem with the pictures and stuff that they're faking nowadays.
I mean, Megalodon could very well still be down there. I mean, it's around that same time frame in the 30s. I don't remember the exact years, but when they they thought the coelacanth was extinct for millions of years.
Until
Until
1935. Yeah, until
that might have been
1935.
1935 too. They pulled one up of the south coast of Africa in a fishing net. And since
Yep,
then, they've actually been
exactly.
able to go down that same area and get some video of them on occasion. Not a whole lot, but you can probably pull that up on the internet too. The coelacanth is not extinct like they thought it was. The same thing can be with the megalodon. It's just living deep, like the giant octopus and stuff comes up from the depth.
Hey, David, I'm going to let you take over for a minute and talk about this. I gotta take some medication here and try to get this breathing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um,
There's just so much going on out there that when William gets back, I want to get his thoughts on some of the supernatural aspects of some of this wildlife stuff, if that comes into play. Extraordinary abilities of real animals seen in documentaries. They had a lot of documentaries out as far as some of the supernatural things. It's a supernatural. It could go back to the psychological aspect as far as people being able to communicate, being able to see in each other's mind's eye what may be taking place. If I'm making sense of what I'm trying to say, but it's all over the internet to where encounters range from awe-inspiring displays of nature to encounters with mysterious, unexplained beings that also populate human cultures and stories. It's just amazing that, there's just so much out there that we don't know that's there. We're finding things all the time. What was that? Mary Burke, yes, thanks. I was feeding them cigar minnows out. What? Okay, I must have. I missed that one on the cigar minnows, whatever a cigar minnow is.
yeah.
Oh,
Bounty brought up subs can be mistaken by a predator, which is understandable, as
yeah,
far as, because, some of those subs are, are as big as whales, and what a megalodon's going to feed upon is a whale.
yeah. Or yeah, pretty much.
In fact,
Maybe even
wasn't there a whale? Yeah, wasn't there a whale bitten almost in half off the coast of Hawaii a couple years ago?
Well, that's what I'm referring to. Well, that's besides the great white. Yeah, that again with the bite marks does not match up with any known great whites to be able to be that big, especially to take on a whale like that. And was it the sperm whale? I can't remember.
I can't remember if it was a sperm whale or if it was a humpback whale.
I can't remember. But either way, they're both big species. And for something to take that big of a chunk out of it to pretty much bite it in half. And they don't think it was a continuous feeding thing to get it to like that. They said I think it was to like one, maybe two bites at the most that took a massive chunk out of that whale, pretty much taking it in half. But then again, they only look at the story, then the story drops and it falls by the wayside. You don't hear about it again.
Exactly.
But I'll need to look. I'll need to look that up again myself too. Well, this is not quite on the sea life aspect, but one a real world story. People report unusual wildlife encounters, such as following a blue morpho butterfly to a waterfall, having an orangutan walk alongside them in the jungle. That's getting more in the supernatural aspect. And there's also been supernatural stuff as far as the ocean life itself. I'm not too privy on a lot of that, but a lot of this could tie in hand. We're all on one planet. Do you know of any supernatural things that happens with whether it be folklore or legend or stuff with the I ain't talking like the Kraken or anything like that from mythology and stuff like that. Not to say that the Kraken didn't exist, but anything as far as nowadays with what we know that's in our oceans and stuff. Anything on the supernatural aspect have you come across, William, that you could elaborate on?
That could possibly, make aquatic life and wildlife in general act like this. Is that what you mean?
That or I don't know. I don't know how to bring it up. Anything. Oh, just like we have the cryptids, we have ghosts, we have stuff on the paranormal on the land side, correlating that to anything like that happening on the sea life side, because you've got legends from seafaring people going from one landmass to the other and stuff, seeing different things from giant creatures in the water, which could have been squids at the time. We now know there's giant squid.
Well,
We
you
take
know,
supernatural anymore, but
when you talk about the paranormal and cryptid stuff, the one lake that comes to mind is Lake Baikal in Russia, and Lake Ilion up in Alaska. Those are two of the lakes that I know, other than Loch Ness and some
yeah.
of the other Ogopogo events and stuff like that going around and happening. Those are probably the two most mysterious lake bodies of water that I've ever heard of. Um, a lot of legend goes with those lakes. A lot of history and sightings. And you know, I talked briefly about it at the last podcast I did with Eric. I think it was Sunday, about this type of a cryptid, which a Sedna is said to be like a mer person, but a very, very mean, malevolent, just and flesh eating, you know, type of a being, you know, just not nice to humans at all. So, and then you also incorporate the legend of um, the Kushtaka. The Kushtaka is otherwise known as Otter Man. Is off of you know, the Alaskan waters too, and it's said to be, you know, like a 7 to 8 to 9 foot tall, half beaver, half man type of a cryptid. Which, you know, is it something that's actually fact, or is it just, you know, mythology? And you know, there's been so many encounters in Alaska with Kushtaka that it's my belief that it is a shape-shifting supernatural entity. Okay. And that's just my belief on that. When you're dealing with a lot of this stuff, you're dealing with beings that are vastly more intelligent than we are, vastly more knowledgeable about how the workings of this world works, and the environment in the world works to their advantage, more than what humans can, because humans don't know the environment. You know, they at one point in time back in the old days we used to, but you know, for the most of it, 99.2% of humanity doesn't even go out into the woodlands anymore. You know, they don't go out into the mountains and you know, and into the forest. You know, so they avoid it at all costs. They like their concrete jungles. So,
Well,
but
we may have imaged the ocean pretty much the way it is and stuff like that, but we still don't know 90% of what's down there because they don't
exactly.
study.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, we've only just studied about 2 to 5% of the entire ocean water. So,
we know more about the moon than we do our own ocean,
yeah,
and that's a known
exactly,
fact. And then again, and
exactly,
also they've got recordings. They got acoustic recordings of very strange sounds coming from the depths. They can't attribute it to anything. So what's making those sounds? They know what
exactly.
volcanic sounds sound like. They know what landmass moving against each other sounds like. I mean, they've got all that stuff identified, but some of the sounds that they've been picking up doesn't match anything known. And then
Exactly.
people want to start throwing out their theories about, well, people claim they've seen mermaids for hundreds of years. So what's making those sounds? You know, I mean,
Uh, I was looking at a map earlier today too. Let me grab my phone here and see if I can pull it up. It was a map that I actually snapped a picture of it and I enlarged it, so I can see, you know, the very small parts of it. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but on this side of the bottom of the screen, below the ship on the land, you'll see an
Yeah.
animal that is four-legged with a long neck, and you can't really make it out. And then there's something else there that looks almost like a lizard, an armadillo mixture. So definitely were creatures around within the past couple hundred years that this map was actually done back probably, I think it was 1500 and something. So, within 500 years, they were mapping creatures like that existed, as in like just seeing a black bear walk past them or something, or pulling a trout out of a pond. They were acknowledging these creatures and wildlife, I guess you could call it, existing in those days, and that was just 500 years ago. This
Which
map was
means they
done.
can exist today.
Yeah, this map was done in 1517
Mhm.
was when this map was done. So
Well, they
I'm
had to
still-
see something for them to be able to document it the way they're. I can't see, even back then, several hundred years ago, even further back, people were just drawing stuff when they're in the ocean, just making stuff up. I can't see that.
exactly.
They're just a figment
No,
of your
neither can I.
imagination. Maybe a small
And I'm
percentage, maybe a small percentage could be misidentification, but for them to draw to detail the best they could of what they're trying to show, what they've seen, I can't believe it's just a figment of their imagination.
here's me when I tried to darken the image so you could see it better.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the image there with the long neck, but it's a land-based animal, okay? And it's got a long tail. The neck isn't really as long as the tail, but it basically it's something that I have no idea what they're trying to describe or depict there. I liken it down to probably, I don't know. I'm still, working on that map. I'm trying to, decipher what I'm seeing in there, and it's literally amazing. I mean, the things that they've got drawn on there, and this map also has a lizard being and a Sasquatch being on it, specifically up in the mountains on the map on land. So, the more I delve into these ancient maps, the more I just get amazed at what they were actually visually seeing. I'm not going to say that they were hyped up on anything as far as that goes. With map making in the days, but it's amazing to me that they were seeing these things or even had the imagination. I mean, how are you going to imagine something like that if you didn't see it?
And then you got
To me,
different cultures that basically seen the same thing at different time spans from different parts of the world, and basically drawing practically the same thing. Not in every situation, but a lot of the stuff matches up. But people want to just say it's folklore or legend or whatnot. But word has to spread pretty fast, and one drawing get around the world pretty fast to other cultures and natives and stuff like that, be it Africa or Asia or whatever, for them to be able to draw and see the same thing. I can't see it happening that fast.
Yeah, here's something that Steve Wolf brought up. The 5-gilled Greenland shark can live up to 300 and 400 years. Yeah, and they've been actually finding them that they're living up to 600 years now. This was from an article that I was investigating off of. Because they started thinking, well, maybe it's the Greenland sharks that they're seeing more often and not the great whites that are getting so large because they're living so long. No, it's a complete different species of shark. So there was a species of shark that was caught on video off of the coast of Australia a couple years ago. It had black tip on its fin, on its dorsal fin, and on its wing fins, and on its tail fins. It was all black tip, and it had a black almost underbelly, okay, with the gray great white shark coloring on all the other parts of it. and the face didn't look like a great white. It didn't look like a Greenland shark or anything like that. It was a short snouted eating meat machine is what it looked like to me. But they estimated it at 35 feet long. And then this one scientist said, "Oh, well, that's just a juvenile. That's what a juvenile megalodon looks like." And I started thinking to myself, well, that does kind of make sense. If he's acknowledging that a megalodon could exist, they have to breed.
Definitely.
And maybe these things, when they're young, they come to the surface, but the older the megalodon gets, to avoid humanity, because they know if they come to the surface, they're probably going to get killed and torn apart by science. Maybe it's the young ones that are coming to the surface that are killing the whales and stuff that we see with the big bites out of them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Part of it could be too is the young ones can withstand less pressure coming up. But maybe the older ones they can't survive. You have more atmospheric pressure the deeper you go.
Exactly.
And, I think it's one atmosphere for like every 6 feet, if I remember my scuba diving training years back. But when you get down at those depths, where you get down to crust depth, which things do live beyond crust depths of submarines, maybe their body can't take the less pressure coming up, but the younger ones might be able to until they get to a certain age. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here as far as something like that, with possibilities of younger ones being able to come up. I mean, just like the bull shark.
Right.
One of the only known sharks that lives in salt water becomes in the freshwater to breed. They've been seen all up in the Mississippi River. You know that? With the bull shark.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many different dynamics.
Bull sharks will attack a human in water before a great white does.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, it's one of the most, it's one of the more aggressive sharks there is. It's more aggressive than the great white.
Yeah.
But people talk about the great white because it's a bigger shark.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks more menacing. And people encounter great whites more than they do bull sharks. Of course, those that encounter bull sharks probably don't survive very many times. So.
Exactly.
I mean, all my years of scuba diving, I've never seen a bull shark. I just seen one great white. I've seen sharks beyond all kinds of reefs sharks and everything else, but I've never seen a bull shark. Knock on wood. I mean, it was one of the sharks I really didn't want to see in my scuba diving days. That was eons old.
Well, when we were in, when I was on the Coral Sea, on the USS Coral Sea CV-43, we used to, the boatswain mates used to make these hooks out of these pieces of iron, and that they used for welding and all that, for repairs on the ship. And one day they we would toss, they'd toss a hunk of ham on it and throw it in the water, and nothing would go after the ham. Well, one day this one cook got the idea in his head to tell the boatswain mate to throw a little bit of blood on top of the ham and then throw it in the water. And they threw it off the flight deck, okay, which was like throwing it off of a 10 to 12 story building off of the flight deck. It hit the water. It was in the water maybe 5 minutes, and they pulled up a 14-foot long hammerhead shark.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they say that a shark can smell a drop of blood up to 6 miles away. That's a predator. That is definitely a predator instinct.
Oh, yeah.
And if something is out there that's meaner than a shark and scaring the smaller sharks away, you have to almost think that there might be something to this whole sea creature myths and legends that are on these ancient maps.
Well, it's not just blood; it's also vibration. They also sense vibration, which people don't realize.
Yeah,
that's why a lot of swimmers get attacked, and they're not bleeding. It's the vibration of them breaking the surface of the water while they're swimming. And sharks key in on that, because to a shark or any predator beneath the surface, when they pick up that vibration, to them there's a struggle going on. To them, it's almost like there may be a meal coming, so they go to investigate. And a lot of swimmers, they look, especially when looking from below, even on surfboards, they mimic a whale in their appearance and stuff. Not a whale, a seal in their appearance and stuff.
Mhm.
And but that people just need to be aware of that. But it's not just blood; it's also vibrations that will key in certain predatory animals will key in on, and shiny objects too.
Yeah. I
That
agree
makes
with
sense?
100. I agree 150% with what Urso says right
Yeah.
here. I know the specific weapon that he's talking about too.
Yep.
It was mentioned in a documentary also a while back.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, Megalodon, that could be one of the primary reasons that a lot of these other things are beaching themselves out of fear, you know, or
Being
throwing
chased.
themselves, yeah, or
Being,
throwing
yep.
themselves onto a floating boat filled with, you know, with humans on it, like the sea otters do, you know, all the time, and the sea lions do, you know, getting on the boats and not wanting to get off into the water. Maybe it's because there's a predator down there that would literally consume them within one bite.
Yep. Oh, I don't doubt that a bit. There's things down there that'll do that. And yeah,
Let me see. I'm sorry. I'm going through the comments here right now.
yeah, I'm looking at them too. Yeah, that's pretty much right. Yeah,
Yep.
being put on display. The only way I can see around that is putting them in cages, and it's for the benefit of the species. Because if something's endangered, you may have to take that step to protect them.
Yep.
There was something just born the other day because that being brought up, my mind just came to it. Lowland gorilla, I think it was, just had a baby last week, I think it was. And they're a really endangered species, but through captivity, they're starting to bring them back. Now, at some point, they'll start releasing them back into the wild when the population they feel is there to be able to safely do that. But yeah, all this other stuff, I mean, yeah, zoos and everything. Yeah, I don't agree with a lot of that either. Animals just being caged up for these spectacles. That's to me, I don't think
Yeah.
that's right either.
Well, that's kind of like we are right now to the alien species. We're just a traveling zoo. That's all we are.
Yeah, under their microscope. Yeah,
Yeah.
being watched every day.
At least that's what they say, you know. I don't put a whole lot of belief into the whole alien thing, guys. I'm sorry, I don't. That's just my opinion. I think that there's more to this world, to this planet that we live on, than what we have been led to believe. I do
Oh, yeah.
believe that there are other races. There are other creatures that we know as cryptids that have lived here for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years, right alongside of humanity. Okay, I'm a firm believer in that. I don't think everything comes from outer space. That's just, I don't believe that. Not for, maybe a certain percentage, but not all of it. To me, it's more terrestrial in a area of mass of a world that we have been lied to in size, by the powers that be, telling us, oh, we know what's in the oceans. We've got all these other creatures listed and stuff. And, I remember growing up as a kid, my dad had bought me a poster of all the species of whales and stuff, and sharks and all that, and dolphins and all that, that science knew in those days. And that was in the probably 1970. Okay. And I had that on my wall, and I looked at that thing every day. And I thought to myself, it even gave you the measurements of how long it was. A certain whale was 65 feet long, it amazed me then. But when I think back and look at that poster in my mind, I honestly believe that that was just a fraction of the life that we have actually known that's in the oceans. It's a small fraction, probably 3%, you know? So that's just my opinion too. So, but
Well,
anyway,
they're finding stuff all the time too. New
exactly,
species all the time, whether it be from the smallest insect to
exactly.
mammals and invertebrates, you name it.
Yep,
The
exactly.
orangutan, that new orangutan just found a couple of years ago, a whole new species. There's stuff out there they're finding all the time.
Yep. Now let's see here. Anybody have any questions? Oh, what's Steve say? I gotta see this. While watching this on my TV, I found on my phone the minute-long video of the orca imitating the human speech. Cool. Yeah, it is good. It's a good listen, man. I'm telling you, you guys got to look that up.
I might have to look that up too.
Yeah, it'll freak you out, man. I'm telling you, it will literally freak you out. It's amazing. It is literally amazing.
Then it
And at
makes you
least
wonder what else out there might be able to do the same thing too.
well, I mean, what's amazing too to me is it's not just that species. It's all species. I mean, look at this. And I don't want to get off the ocean thing again and onto the land thing, but this is the air thing. Let me get that comment off of there. And come on. And just take a look at this. Wild crows in Sweden have learned to take and trade litter for food, dropping cigarette butts into a machine that will feed them a snack every time they do it. How smart is that? And then you've got crows out there that actually do speak. They mimic human voice.
Yeah.
Okay, just like a parrot would. I mean, it's, to me, this is amazing. This is truly amazing. This is humanity, science, and technology combining efforts to communicate with animal. And be it good or bad, it's the future, folks.
Where crows are intelligent too. They've been doing experiments with them for decades and stuff. I mean, if you watch what they do around houses, that people pull up crows on YouTube and stuff, while people actually film what they've been able to get crows and a few other birds to do. It's just like a training aspect.
Exactly.
And they're thieves too. You leave something out, if you don't want to take it, you better not leave it out.
Yeah. And the military, like you said, the United States Department of Navy, they use dolphins and other aquatic animals all the time.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't realize that. They do. And they purposely are using and developing these sonar weapons to see what kind of effects it would have on marine life, because they don't want to harm marine life purposely. They want to avoid harming the marine life because they're utilizing a portion of that marine life. So the weapon they're developing, if it harmed marine life, and aquatic life, they're harming themselves and their advancement in fighting off an enemy, or finding out more about an enemy. There was a time when dolphins were used to put mines on ships.
Yep. Well, I wasn't going to go down that road when I was bringing dolphins earlier. For nefarious reasons, that's what it all started with. Yeah.
Exactly.
It wasn't designed to be a suicide mission for the dolphins, like a lot of people would think, because the mines were supposed to detach by magnets when they got close enough to a ship that they were trained to go by. Then they were able to swim away, but it didn't always work out that way, because the mines and stuff, the explosives that were used would sometimes pre-detonate upon impact when it releases and attaches to the ship. I don't know a whole lot about that. I wasn't part of that, but I've heard the stories as far as what the intent was, but it didn't always work out for the intent.
Yeah, but this one, you guys definitely check out this orca recording, because it is really, it's amazing. And Steve can tell you, firsthand, Steve Wolf in the chat, If you guys haven't heard that, you got to listen to it. It's literally, it'll send chills down your spine the way that it's done. And it's not altered in any way. It's literally how their research and development working with this female whale. I think her name was Wiki or something like that. But yeah, it was incredible. And if they can do that with and God knows how long they've been doing it. That's the thing. So all right. Well,
Was that,
I
real quick, was the human speech
go
thing,
ahead.
was that just certain words?
Yeah,
that
go ahead.
They trained that was that just certain words they trained that orca to do? I mean, it wasn't like a conversation.
Well,
I'm gonna have to listen to it.
It was in a way like a training like Coco the gorilla. Remember the gorilla that was taught sign language? It's kind of along that lines. Okay.
All right.
But this orca was starting to realize that it could create communication. I don't know if it's because it developed a pattern awareness, like I always talk about with patterns. Okay. I don't know if it's that or if it's actually just remembering what the humans acted like and looked like compared to
they remember.
As far as repetitiveness goes. So you'll be able to figure. It'll freak you out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I do want to before we close out, I want to go over 11 p.m. this Friday night on Into the Red Rabbit Hole. Our topic on that podcast is going to be superhumans and superhuman abilities. So that's going to be a very, very interesting one, guys. Trust me on that. Again, I want to congratulate Brian Houlihan for his book. If you guys can, look it up. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon or wherever books are sold, or contact him. Look him up. On the net. You never know. He might have a website where you can pick it up yourself. Also, if you can, please remember to if you're in the area of Clayton, Oklahoma, stop on into the Bigfoot Enigma Research Center and Museum. Hang out with Tanya and the rest of the gang. And tell them your encounters. It's a safe place to talk about your encounters. Okay. They have a lot of cool stuff. I saw this picture too. This is with Brian and in there. They actually have like a little museum set up there, which is kind of cool, where you can interact with some of the stuff that's there, and learn a little bit too while you're there, which is cool. Let's also please, as a favor to me, let's keep Fred and his surviving family in your prayers. Cancer is a hell of a thing. Trust me, guys. I've been battling it for 5 years now. It's a hell of a thing. One day you're up, and the next 3 days you're down. It's an invisible enemy you can't fight. And I don't know how I've lasted so long. But Fred, we miss you. We're gonna miss you very much. Your family's in our thoughts and our prayers. And just keep them lifted up. Okay. So, other than Friday night's podcast, I guess we might as well close it out, because I want your final thoughts on this whole thing. Environment, military tampering, chemical dumping, solar, lunar anomalies causing, or all of the above, on the ocean aquatic life acting out towards humans in a strange way.
It has to be all the above. There's so many things going on out there right now that's been going on now for years that you really can't put it on one specific thing, other than there are strange things happening out there with the aquatic life that's never really been noticed, measured, or seen. This frequency, and I don't think it's ever been seen in this frequency before.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's got to be all the above, and plus, again, the things out there that's happening that we don't know about. You may even
Exactly.
see this increase even more as time goes along, and hopefully,
Yep.
it's not going to be detrimental. Hopefully.
Yep. Well, I want to thank the moderators for being here. Urso, thank you. I appreciate that a lot, man. I believe Roxanne's in the house too. If she's not, she's probably chasing Eric around with a broomstick. I want to, somebody has to. Somebody has to keep Eric in line, guys. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Eric's a lost cause.
So Eric's he's a good kid. He's a good kid. So he's one of the young ones. So he's going to be taking over after we're gone. So it's up to us to make sure everybody's prepared for it. See you all Friday night for the Superhuman Abilities podcast, Into the Red Rabbit Hole. And it's going to be a good one, guys. As I always say, what do I always say? Thank you, everybody. Please like, heart, and share this out. Subscribe if you haven't. That's a biggie. That helps me out a lot. Subscriptions, believe it or not. I give up on asking for anything more above and beyond that other than likes and shares. If you can boost it or hype it or whatever they call it, boost, hype, whatever, that'd be great too. Until Friday night at 11 o'clock Eastern for Into the Red Rabbit Hole, I'm Nighthawk.
Yep. You all have a good night. Now I can let my hair down. No,
Yeah.
we'll win the rest of the night. So we'll see what
Now
happens.
David's going to dance around the house naked.
No, I'm not going to do that. Melissa's here. Ain't no way I'm going to do that.
All right, everybody. Peace, love, and blessings, guys. And we'll see you all Friday night, okay? Thanks for being
Have a
here.
good night. Goodbye.
Through the mist we rise, a force unbroken, with banners high and hearts awoken. The sound of pipes, our war is calling. Like thunderous waves, our duty is falling. Stand tall, together we fight, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity, our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. With battle cries, we forge our fate. In fields of valor, we elevate. As shadows loom, our spirits gleam. Brothers in arms, we are the tree. Fearless, we take the night, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy